All right, shalom, shalom. I'm going to start out this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops, a great millstone that rule well, that teach well, while learning truth 100% according to the Bible. And I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophets, servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the Akwaf, which are the sisters that are sincere in your children, shalom. And in today's video, it's going to be the same thing, basically going into, this video was created an hour ago. So it's more information of what's taking place in the earth, dealing with the Third World War that we know is coming very soon, which is a major part of biblical prophecy and the ultimate return of our Lord, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. This and the MOTB, we know that before this war to go real critical, which is about to get, and is getting there day by day, but before it to get nuclear, obviously, we know that the MOTB and Jacob's trouble and things must ensue first. So we watch these events to see the closer we get to this war, knowing that the time of Jacob's trouble and all of those things will also be at hand very soon, right? So I'm gonna read the title of the video, and it says "Emergency Alert: Iran closes airspace." Right, 10 stealth bombers in Diego Garcia now. So the U.S. military forces have deployed 10 stealth bombers to Diego Garcia, and the stealth bombers in which they deployed there are the B-2 stealth bombers, which are those stealth bombers that can, carry multiple nuclear warheads, right? So we see that we're coming closer and closer to this Third World War. So with that being said, I'm going to basically allow this video to play, so I'm going to say under the 1976 Copyright Act that I'm not getting paid for this video. It is only for educational purposes only. So with that being said, I'm going to say fair use, right?
What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NY Prepper. It is Thursday, April 3rd, 2025, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 17:06 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from the Middle East and from all over the world. So what you're looking at here is a picture coming out of Diego Garcia. This was 2 days ago on April Fool's Day, and you can see 6 U.S. stealth bombers sitting on the tarmac. Now, what a lot of people don't realize about this picture is that there's 4 shelters here that have stealth bombers in them already. So we now have 10 stealth bombers in Diego Garcia. Okay, so they moved 3 more stealth bombers earlier this week.
And we know ultimately that you don't prepare all of that military might, and they also then sent, I'm going to get that post real quick that I had posted. They ultimately then sent more military aircrafts out there as well. Aircraft carriers, that can carry the, the fighter jets and things of that nature. So they also then send a lot of those out there as well. You're not going to move all of these different types of aircrafts and, bombers and things of that nature unless you're getting prepared for war, right? And we know that that Third World War is biblical prophecy and that it will take place very soon. So I'm going to go into right here. I'm going to look for that. It was a post that I made. Allow you brothers and sisters to see it, right? Here it is right here. As you can read, it says the U.S. sends second aircraft carrier to Middle East as Trump threatens to bomb Iran. So, we see all of these different things happening. So I'm going to go to a precept, right? And go to the good old book of Joel, chapter 3, and get on down to these prophecies, man, because this is what we see happening, man. These people are preparing themselves to fight, man, in this Third World War, and it will happen, So we're going to keep bringing out the same scriptures and the same, different information, but using the same precepts to align itself with the things that we see happening in the earth, man. Proving closer and closer that we're getting closer to the return of the Lord, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, man. So this is Joel chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 9 again. It said, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, right? Mighty men going into the soldiers. You got all of these different countries, the EU, NATO, all of these different countries, North Korea, I believe, also other nations, even France just came out with this, that where they're implementing the draft as well. So they're preparing their mighty men, which are their soldiers, right? Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong, right? That's going into all of these different nations that were at once upon a time weak. You know, they didn't possess the military power that they have now, right? And this is ultimately the Lord's doing because, like I said, this is going to go into the destruction, all of these nations coming together to ultimately destroy America, Babylon the Great. You know, so that's why these countries that used to be weak are now powerful, right? They have the military might, the nuclear capabilities, and all of these different things to bring forth damage, man, and to do damage. And the Lord is going to allow them to do damage upon this place here in America, man, right? And verse 11 says, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen, right? So all of these heathen nations that you see, you know, Moab, the Chinese, the Koreans, you know, the Arabics, you know, all of these different people, man, they're getting their military mights prepared, and the Lord is all going to lead them down into the valley, man, right? That it tells you in the next verse. It said, gather yourselves round together round about, thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, right? Their best soldiers, the best of the best, their best military aircraft, their best tanks, their best everything. They're sending it to the Middle East now as I'm speaking. And it said, oh Lord, verse 12, let the heathen, right? These heathen nations, right? Be waked and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So we know ultimately the Lord is allowing these nations to gather up in the Middle East to ultimately prepare themselves for this third world war, where the Lord will use that to judge all the heathen nations for what they have done to the Lord's people, right? Going back into what it says in the book of Psalms 83 and verse 3 on down, how they have taken crafty counsel so that the people of Israel, right, or Israel, which is a people before a place, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, that we will be forgotten about, basically, to no more be remembered. That's what all of these heathen nations have did and taken counsel against the Lord's people to do. And that's why he's ultimately going to bring judgment upon these nations through this third world war, right? So we're going to get back into the video. You know, like I said, it's just another update, you know, keep you brothers and sisters informed on the things that are happening around the world, you know, because as the Lord has said, you know, in the book of Ezekiel 3 and 17, and I love bringing the scripture out, you know, that we're supposed to be watching, being meditated in prophecies, as it tells you in the book of Ecclesiasticus 39 and 1, that we're supposed to be meditating in prophecies, man, and focusing on prophecies. But I'm going to go to Ezekiel 3 and 17 in the KJV. And it says, son of man, right? I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. And that's basically what this video is about, is blowing the trumpet in Zion, warning you brothers and sisters that this world war is getting closer, man. And that ultimately we know that Jacob's trouble and everything else is soon to come, you know. But I'm going to get back into this video. And we're going to get back into it.
Earlier this week to Diego Garcia. So that's within striking range of Iran. And also Iran issued an airspace closure for the Tehran flight information region starting tomorrow, April the 4th, all the way through May 21st. And what's concerning about this is they did the same type of airspace closure over the Tehran flight information region last fall, when they were getting ready to launch their second big missile attack on Israel, Operation True Promise 2. Okay, so this is the same exact closure for the same exact period of time. So this means that Iran is about to be attacked by the U.S. and Israel, and they need to close their airspace over Tehran in the event that they need to use air defenses, or if they want to launch missiles.
Right. So we just heard what he basically said. You know, the United States and Israel is basically getting prepared to strike Iran, and Iran knows it's coming. So that's why they're basically closing down their flight paths and things of that nature. To the date you can see right there, it says May the 21st, April 4th through May 21st. That's like, I believe, you know, a month and a half. So I believe, and also brothers and sisters, also remember that I just uploaded that video where they was basically talking about how Donald Trump was allegedly trying to bring in martial law on April 20th. So, I mean, all of these things are lining up, man. like I said, the Lord is getting ready to return, but before he returns, there's about to be, great chaos happening upon this earth, man. All hell's about to break loose very soon, man. And that's what these people are not understanding and seeing. But it's about to happen, For the men of the Lord are warning people of these things, And I'm going to go to another, this is another post, right? We're hearing that Israel and the U.S. basically saying that they're going to attack Iran. And this is Russia's response to that. And we know Russia plays a big part in the Ezekiel 38 war, right? Which they will help Iran basically to, eventually strike America, Babylon the Great, man. So we know before all of these things can really take off to the point that they're going to go, that MOTB and things of that nature have to be made mandatory in America. So you can expect the collapse of the U.S. dollar to happen very soon. If everything is on plan, how it's going in the media, right, with them getting ready to strike Iran and things of that nature, you could prepare for that United States dollar to collapse soon in the implementation of that digital system. But this is what it says. Russia says U.S. threat of military strike against Iran are unacceptable. So Russia is basically telling the U.S. that they're not going to sit back and allow them to attack Iran, because we know that Iran is a part of the BRICS nations, which makes up, basically the people that Russia is in one of their trading partners, who they trade weapons, foods, ideas, and things of that nature, with they basically exchange information with one another. They're partners basically, and they're saying that they're not going to just sit back and obviously let America attack them. So that's ultimately going to lead to that Ezekiel 38 war, man, that we see coming. But I'm gonna get this precept again, Revelation 11 and 14. Furthermore, proving that the third world war is coming quickly, man. All right. This is a Revelations 11 and verse 14, and it says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe, right, which is World War III, cometh quickly. And we can see that it's coming quickly. I mean, look at all of the wars and threats of wars and things of that nature that you see. But like the Lord said in Matthew 24 and 6, all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And the reason the end is not going to happen, which is that nuclear destruction, because guess what? More prophecies need to be played out first. Like I said, Jacob's trouble, the MOTB, and all of these things. But once those things happen, and once those events, I believe, begin to happen, which will happen soon, because, I mean, if this war is about to pop off, like they're saying, between April the 4th to May 21st, that they have their flight patterns and things closed down. So if the U.S. and Israel is really about to attack them before May the 21st, which is, I believe, possibly about maybe a month and a half away. So if they attack them before this month and a half, then you can expect it to get real hectic out here in America very soon. And don't forget about all of those different type of people that Joe Biden allowed to come over the border, man. You still got to remember all of those people, all of those sleeper cells and things of that nature when Joe Biden was in office, all of those 20 plus million people they said entered into the U.S. illegally. And there's a lot of people in here, that are just waiting on the go, man, because ultimately they know that the U.S. and Israel is going to attack Iran. So once they do that, then that's possibly going to strike off something here, man. All type of T attacks and things of that nature are going to ensue. And that's ultimately what I believe is possibly going to bring Jacob's trouble and that civil unrest. But this is just me speaking foolishly. I'm not saying that's exactly how it's going to happen. But still, we ought to be mindful of these things, But I'm going to get into this video, let a little bit more play, and then I'm going to end the video.
If they want to launch missiles at U.S. bases, U.S. oil fields, international oil fields, shipping lanes, etc. Okay, so this is extremely serious, guys. And then here's the airspace closure from the fall, okay, September 7th through November 20th of last year. Same exact type of closure. So this is very, very serious, guys. Iran has already put their missiles on full alert in their underground bases, okay? So they're ready to launch at a moment's notice. And we know that the U.S.
So yeah, that's pretty much everything I have for today's video. As you brothers and sisters can see, if you want to finish going and watch this video, you know where the channel is to watch it. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. Just a quick little update. yeah, everything is basically about to pop off, man, very soon. The Lord is coming soon. So with that being said, to the next time, I'm gonna say shalom.